Bears! This is Bear Blast, the official podcast of student life at Mott Community College. Whether you're new to campus or have been here for a while, this is your spot to catch up on what's happening, hear real stories from students and staff, and find new ways to get involved. From events and campus tips to student success stories and special guests, we're here to help you make the most of your time at MCC. Let's get started!
Good afternoon. My name is Alyshia and I am the coordinator for student life at Mott Community College, and this is Bear Blast. Today, our topic is mental health matters, supporting students' well-being. So I have a few guests with me today, and before we get started, I just wanted to say thank you for listening and coming to check out our podcast. We do regular episodes of this, hopefully a couple times a week. So if you are interested or you'd like to participate and be on this podcast with us and you have something that you'd like to say, stop by the Office of Student Life and we'd be happy to have you. Now that we're here, thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us. We have some special guests from SPAC, which some of you have heard from before. But then we have a few new guests that we're going to introduce. So before we get started, just tell me your name, a little bit about yourself, and what you're doing here at Mott.
Hi, my name is Mahmouda. I'm an international student and I'm a member of SPAC and I'm studying pre-nursing. So hopefully I will start my nursing program from this fall.
Hi everyone, my name is Peace. I'm also an international student here at Mott. I'm in the nursing program and I'm going to be graduating this December.
Hello, my name is Melanie Jones. I am part of social work faculty and part of staff at the Lenore Crowdy Family Life Center.
I'm Andy. I'm a local student. This is my last semester here. I'm a general ed student.
Andy, you are so full of life every time you come onto this podcast. You just have so much to say about yourself. I don't know how. I'm going to have to tell you to just relax a little.
Sorry, I tend to be a little bit oversharing.
Oversharing? Yes. Yeah, I can definitely tell for sure. Anyway, Jennifer.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Cronkite. I'm a student success coach here at Mott Community College. Andy, what's your favorite pizza topping?
Oh, is this
Sauce?
Sauce? I don't think I've ever heard that as an answer before. Sauce. All right, he goes for the basics. Well, he is majoring in world domination, as he said, so that's one. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming. I appreciate you. And I'm looking forward to getting your input on this very interesting topic. I think a lot of people don't pay enough attention to mental health and well-being when it comes to being a student. I think we think about that in our daily lives and we talk about, how that applies to our families and maybe even our pets at home. But what we really don't often speak about is how it affects you and your education. So I'm excited to hear from you. And there's not much that I know about this topic, to be totally honest. I would love to say, that I'm a professional, but I'm definitely not. So I'm eager to hear what you have to say. So that being said, we're going to jump right into it. I have just a few questions for you guys, and feel free to answer. You don't have to go in any particular order. Just let me know what you think about these particular things. So my first question is, have you ever felt that balancing school, work, and your personal life has taken a toll on your mental health, and how did you handle it?
Sometimes it hurt, like when you feel like, oh my God, I have a lot to do and I don't have time, or maybe I don't have that energy. Like I feel like this assignment, it's too hard for me. I need to put like so much effort, or maybe I don't have anyone who can help me to understand this material. Like maybe you started your assignments like late night, and at that time you can't find your professor or you can't find your friends to help you. So sometimes it's like frustrating. Yeah. Like when you are like living your own life and balancing your academics and everything. So.
Yeah, I'm going to add to that. As an international student, when I came into the country, the first semester here at Mott, it was so overwhelming. I was introduced to Canvas, I was introduced to Backpack, I was introduced to so many stuff. And I had assignments to do, I had deadlines to meet. So I was really overwhelmed. So I had to go talk to my the admissions officer that was supposed to be talking about international students. So I met with the DSO, she's called the Designated Student Officer. So I met with her and told her about my anxiety, overwhelming, and she introduced me to an app. It's called Calm. So I downloaded the app and I found out that the app is very helpful. It was very helpful to me. It's an audio app. It helps you to sleep. It helps you to meditate. It talks about so many different musics that can calm you. So that is what I've been using all this while to like get back my mental health.
Nice. I've heard of that app. I've seen a lot of students using it. I've never used it before, but it seems really interesting.
It is very interesting.
That's awesome. So even from both of our professionals that are in the room, like what, in the same vein, what do you see in students? What is typically mental health struggles that they go to that you see maybe on repeat, or what do you suggest they do to handle those?
Working at the Lenore Crowdy Family Life Center, one of the missions of Lenore Crowdy, she said that she wanted to make sure that all students understood that they were not alone in their educational journey. So at the center, we provide all types of supports and services, including mental health services. I like that Calm app, but I also like, there's another app, it's just called Journaling. And because, some students don't like to handwrite,
right?
Or they say, I need to journal, but I got to wait till I get home to get to my journal.
Mm-hmm.
But if you use the journaling app on your phone, you can type, and then you can also speak into it. Sometimes you just, you might be walking from one class to another, and you need to open that app and just say, hey, I'm frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
And you might close the app. So that's good too. But what I've seen with a lot of students is they start taking classes and they didn't necessarily prioritize everything that was going on in their lives.
Right.
So they register for classes, and they might register, let's say, for a full load,
Mm-hmm.
but then take into consideration work, home life. Some students are also taking care of parents. So what I've seen in the way to help students is when they come in frustrated, have them sit down and just start prioritizing.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you can look at that on paper, you can see, well, I could eliminate this, or I could move this up to the top of the list. And sometimes just being there as a support and showing students, we can rearrange some things.
Yeah.
That'll help.
Yeah, I think too, it's important to note, as you mentioned, is your time management plays into a lot of what you've got going on too. And we just talked about that in a couple episodes ago, I think, where we were almost suggesting that you really focus right in the beginning on your time management and what you can handle, and notice the patterns of the things that you can't handle.
Right.
And being okay with talking to somebody about it. I think that's really important too. Because sometimes, you want to take care of everything yourself. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a very type A personality. So
Got to be in control.
That's right. I want to be in control because I don't like not knowing the result, or not being in control of the result of what's happening. So, and I know that there are a lot of people out there that are like that. So.
But also, you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
So for some students coming into, starting to take classes and being a college student, if this is all brand new,
Mm-hmm.
how do I prepare for something that I didn't know? And that's why it's good for students once they start feeling that anxiety or that pressure, and it's not to just quit and leave,
Mm-hmm.
but to find the supports and the services that are available, and they can regroup and say, oh, okay, now I know what I need to do.
Yeah, that's a good perspective. I think that a lot of people, they definitely think that they can handle it all on their own, and that's not usually the best way to approach it,
Right.
especially in the beginning. But once you got it down, there's some modifications you can make and things like that, but you don't want to sacrifice your mental health just for the sake of being in control, speaking from personal experience.
And then also a lot of people, not just students, they don't recognize anxiety, because anxiety looks different for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
For some people, anxiety could be you start sweating. For some people, anxiety could be you start crying or tearing up.
Right.
For others, anxiety could be avoiding or shaking. So a lot of people don't know what anxiety looks like on them, and it's good for them. Again, we keep going back to talk to somebody, say something. The number one thing for me is just don't hold it in.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I like that. For this, from the student perspective, for you guys, or those that may have recently been a student or are a student maybe at another college, Jennifer, my question for you is, do you feel that mental health is openly talked about on campus, or do you think it's still like a difficult topic to discuss, maybe amongst your friends or maybe to someone who's a professional? What do you guys think? Do you think it's easy to kind of just say, hey, I need help, or are there some barriers that are in place?
I was going to say, so as a former Mott student and now at U of M, I see there's more talk about mental health than there was before. Because I'm an older student, so I was here a couple years ago as well. But I think as the semesters have gone on and the years have gone on, I've been here 3 years now, I think there's definitely more resources, and we're talking about it more than we ever have.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, when it comes to mental health, they don't realize what mental health can also entail. I worked here with you. I had burnout really bad, and I didn't know what that was. And I just kept trying to go every semester to do another huge amount of classes, and I just kept failing at what I was doing because I was burnt out, and I didn't realize that was a mental health issue. I wasn't taking time for myself.
Yeah.
So I think that we're getting ahead of that. And I think there's also some things on campus, like we here at Mott, and I've seen at U of M, where you have like the puppy days. You have, vision boarding, or you have, there's all kinds of mental health initiatives in play that people don't realize that are there to kind of interact and kind of like prevent you from having issues. Like taking some time off. A lot of students, they go. And I know you talked about, they don't realize the priorities.
Right.
I've had students that haven't been here in 10 years, and they want to take a full set of classes because they want to get done. And I respect that, but at the same time, usually that's a recipe for disaster. Yeah. So a lot of times when we see students and the student success, we try to get them in the beginning to work on things to prevent the anxiety and the mental health. Like, hey, there's some great interactions, some events you can go to, and we try to get those first. And then if we start seeing somebody who's coming across with some mental health, we can get them into somebody. But I see so much more going on that is more mindful and more mental health oriented than we've ever seen before.
Yeah.
And some people don't think like they should take care of their mental health. They just think, oh, it's a part of our life. It's just like, I'm just tired.
I got to deal with it.
Yes,
right?
yes. But they don't think like they can take care of their mental health, and their life would be like much more easier if they do.
Yeah.
So
I think one thing that we discussed in a previous episode, we were talking about balancing leadership and academics, and like what to take on and what not to take on, when you should and when you shouldn't, kind of thing. And one of those things that we repeatedly discussed was the fact that it's really hard for some students, especially leaders, to say no when it's important for you to say no. Like when you cannot handle an overload. One of our guests, her name was Jenna, and she was talking about how like anytime anyone came to her at Mott and they said, we think you should be a part of this program, she said, yes, I'll do it. I will do it. And no matter what. And she ended up in 5 or 6 different programs. And she said, she had to learn to say no and to say, I got to back off a little bit, and I have to be able to be comfortable with dealing with my own mental health and understanding my boundaries, which is really important.
No is part of self-care.
That's right. Self-care, which I think we should do a whole episode about self-care, because I think that is another facet to mental health. And I've learned a lot about that myself with my own partner, who has encouraged that many times, because I'm very much like we discussed, like, oh, I don't have to deal with that. Like, why? That's something for later me, right?
Right.
And that never works out, of course. And then you have to have those people that are whispering in your ear to kind of take a break a little bit. And maybe that's the best.
And some people don't want to accept that, oh, I need to take care of my mental health. They're just like, oh, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm not like, I don't have anything wrong going on. Like
in denial.
Yeah. They're just like, oh, I'm strong.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say with COVID in 2020, and everybody started talking more about mental health, and I feel like mental health became more recognized during the times of COVID.
Yes.
It was more accepted. People were able to say, listen, I'm stressed out. This is how I feel. That's when you started hearing more about anxiety. Mm-hmm. You started seeing more groups. So, the flip side of COVID, I feel, was mental health was addressed more.
Yeah. And I think COVID almost forced that in a way, because we were all stuck inside.
And our insecurities were highlighted, because we were stuck at home with people that we loved or didn't love.
A lot of people figured that out real quick.
And so we found out more of who we were. Yeah. And said, hey, things have to change for the better.
Yeah, because we were faced with the concept that like we literally had no socialization, and the only thing we could do is walk outside, and that was it. Stay away from other people, and like it was mandated at that point, and so you had to get creative, and people were really forced to kind of get face to face with the reality of mental health. So I was happy. I did a lot of soul searching myself during that time and realized that I have like zero boundaries and I needed them. So it worked out better for me in the end, but I definitely think that that was a big push towards, and the positivity of mental health. I know that there's been a huge stigma. I don't know if you guys have experienced this in other cultures, but like, especially people who look like me. For those that are listening, I'm very white. There has always been a stigma in my family and my generations of families that have come before me, that mental health initiatives and seeing a therapist and things were a big no. Like, you should not admit that you need that, because that shows weakness and we are not weak people and all this stuff, which is ridiculous. But I definitely saw over COVID and other things where some of my family members were starting to realize, like, oh, maybe this is actually a good thing, a positive thing for me. And it shouldn't be held to a stigma standard of saying that, you can't reach out and try to help yourself a little bit. But there are other people who can help you, and it's okay to ask for help. I think that's also really important.
Students can be so hard on themselves. We can be very hard on ourselves, and we can't let go of the fact that this is a commuter college.
Right.
And students don't live here on campus, which means they're driving here every day in between, like I said, doing other stuff. They have lives outside of here, and that can add to the stress. Students that live on a college campus, I think that life could be a little bit easier because their life is right there all on, all in one area. But our students are spread out everywhere, and that can add to the stress and mental health. Yeah.
My next question for you guys is more about strategy. So from both perspectives, professional or student, what are some personal strategies or habits that you use or you have suggested a student use for their mental health and their well-being? So like balance, things like that.
Yeah, for me, I have to whenever I'm stressed up, I have to speak to somebody, most especially my family. Once I speak to my family, I think I kind of decompress myself, distress myself, and my thought process comes back to normal, and I start to think, okay. So I'm just gonna advise students to talk to somebody you trust that doesn't gossip. Talk to somebody. So the fact that you decided to say, oh, this is the problem I'm having anxiety, I'm stressed up. You have already passed the first stage of mental health treatment. That is, you have an insight to what is happening to you. So if you have an insight to know that, oh, this is the problem that's happening to me, this is the stress that I'm dealing with, you're one step closer to getting help. Yeah.
Something that I feel like hasn't been mentioned enough is about how you treat yourself physically. A large factor of your mental health is dependent on how well your body is doing. Something that is really, really helpful is just things like getting proper exercise, having a good diet, even getting enough sleep. It's amazing how many people are affected by sleep deprivation.
That's true. It's the physical health too.
Yeah.
So exercising, working out, and then you have students saying, well, how do I fit that in?
Right. In addition to everything else in my schedule, right?
Right.
Yeah. But we talked about that in another episode too, where we were saying, there's time. If you want to make it happen, there is time, and you will find that time. And we were talking about, Mahmouda was there. We were talking about if you got 10 kids or you got no kids or you got 15 farm animals or whatever, there's always going to be time if you want there to be time.
Right.
And so prioritizing what is important to you, and hopefully mental health is high on that list. We're hoping maybe after today, it might be, you never know. But yeah, that is one thing that we really discussed that we felt was important.
And Peace did mention talking to someone. She stressed that. And I don't know if everybody knows about the wellness team through the Lenore Crowdy Family Life Center. We have a wellness team of social workers, licensed social workers for students and staff, where you can come and you can make an appointment, or you can walk in and you can talk to somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really good that you mentioned that, because that was going to be my next question. What are some of the resources either that you know of and you're a part of, or maybe some that you've utilized before that you feel other students could benefit from, and maybe in their mental health? So that does cover some of it. Do you guys have any other things? I know you talked about an app, which is great. Any other suggestions?
A lot of people don't know this, but Dr. Jennifer Fish Ferguson does yoga. If you've never done yoga, you should do yoga. It is delightful and wonderful. We do wall yoga, and afterwards you are like so calm.
When is that?
She does it on Tuesdays at 5:15.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to be there with me now?
Is it on campus?
You're going to make her commit
my
on the
class
radio.
is Tuesdays at 6:00.
You do yoga too?
No, I teach.
Oh, I was excited. I was
Okay.
like, double yoga.
After this semester, I'm going to look into that.
Yeah, I've taken her class before.
Okay.
For those that don't know, Dr. JFF, as she's so affectionately called, runs the Center for Teaching and Learning here on campus. But she also is a part of the Durham Fitness Center, and she teaches some classes in there that have to do with physical health. And so I don't even remember. I probably took it maybe a couple years ago, and we had a full class of yoga that happened during a lunch hour.
Wow.
For I think 10 weeks or something like that. It was really nice. And it was open to students. They could come and just hang out for an hour. And she had a meditative session in the beginning, and then went into the yoga and the stretching. And man, yoga is not as easy as y'all think. I'm just saying, but it is definitely beneficial, and you learn a lot, and it really is good for mental health. Like, especially for me, when I was coming in off of like working half a day, and then I went in for lunch, and then I came back, I just felt, instead of getting tired and being like, oh, I can't wait till I get home, it was more of a, I'm energized, I'm ready to go, get back on the horse, as they say. So it's a good opportunity. You should definitely take advantage of it. Another question I have for you guys is how, and this probably is more directed towards our professionals, how can like the student leaders and organizations help promote mental health awareness on campus? Is there anything that SPAC, since these three are from SPAC, could do to kind of help to promote that, or get information out to students that might not already know about these programs?
Well, right now, because we are displaced, the Lenore Crowdy Family Life Center, we're displaced because of the fire, and we're at the Prowl Center. But we have pamphlets. And if SPAC, is SPAC, right? Yeah. If SPAC wanted to, maybe hold an event, maybe get with our director and say, hey, we want to do something to highlight what the services are, because mental health services are available right here on campus. A lot of students think they have to go and find a counselor or go find a therapist. And during the semester, it's like it's crunch time. Right. So you might try to make an appointment with a counselor or a therapist or somebody to talk to, but by the time you can get in, the semester's about over. Yeah. But we have people here right on campus, and I think that's so important for our students and our staff to know. Mm-hmm. You can see someone that day, maybe even, within a week, but sooner than what you would have to if you were out there. So, or if you weren't a student, I don't want to say out there, but yeah. But we have plenty of flyers. We have plenty of pamphlets for students to come and check us out and see what we have going.
That's great.
I was going to say, as the coaches, we're kind of the middleman. We connect students with all the resources. So we always try to promote the Lenore Crowdy Family Life Center, which I affectionately used to work there too, and it was a wonderful place. I'll give a little plug there. But it's one of those things where we definitely try to tell students about, things that are going on, like whatever you guys have going on, if they need help, we always promote you guys. The other thing we do is we always talk to students about what Student Life is doing, puppy rooms. Puppy days are great. We talk about de-stressors if you guys are having an event. The other thing that I do as a coach, and some of the coaches, we send out a motivational Monday, but I tried something new. It's called Check-in Fridays. And you might, if I'm your coach, you would get it from me. I just ask how you're doing and send me an emoji. Wow. So I'm not trying to take, you got things going on. You got a life. You got homework.
You're more like a thumbs up, thumbs down situation.
Nice. Thumbs down, I can say like, hey, what can I help you with privately? But if you're telling me you're good, then I know that you're alive and you're doing okay.
That is a big benefit, making sure people are alive. That's for sure.
And sometimes students don't want to talk or hold a conversation, so that is good.
Yeah, and I know. From our personal perspective, as far as like the extensions of student life, SPAC comes through this office. And so We just spoke with the president today about initiatives. For those that are listening, that have never heard of SPAC before, it is the Student Presidential Advisory Council. And it is a group of students that work directly with the Office of the President to bring initiatives from the student perspective to the president for big changes to be made on campus. And one of our things that we talked about today was mental health. So it was perfect in correlation to what we were going with. And she asked some very poignant questions about, do you feel that students know about the mental health services on campus? And almost unanimously, everyone said no. So they were in a position to offer that feedback, which is really good. And she's listening and she's trying to figure out, what is it that we can do to make small changes to promote those things. And so she did give them kind of a boost to say, figure out what you can do as a group to be able to encourage that. So it works out really well that you all are here, because we kind of just transition that right over. But I definitely think that this is a huge focus, especially now. Like right now, it's I'm not sure when this is going to be posted, but it's February. And so it's kind of more the dull time of year that everybody gets in a little bit of a rut. So it's a good time to talk about this, because there's opportunities that are out there and we want you to be encouraged to go participate in those things and make sure that you're doing the best for you. But thank you for that, because I definitely wanted to know, from your perspective, what we could do to help you. And if you guys, anybody who's listening, if you want to get more information, but you don't know, well, especially right now, where the FLC is, then you can come to Student Life and we can take you there. We're more than happy to be your chauffeurs to success. So, but if you have any additional information that you guys want to ever share, I think that students will definitely be open to it. And we were looking forward to that. So I really only just have like one thing left that I want to ask. And that to me is, if you could give one piece of advice to students struggling with their mental health, what would it be?
It always gets better.
Okay.
And don't think you are alone. There is someone to help you.
Yeah.
So you just need to find out, like, who I need to talk. So that's
right.
all. There is always someone you will find to talk on campus, especially on campus.
Right. Yeah. And if we don't have...
And if you feel bored, just like me when I first came here, just came to Student Life, you will find lots of things to do.
There you go. It helps to fill the void of, the social part of that too. I do think that some students have felt that in by itself, is that they don't feel that social connection, and that can affect their mental health as well. So
I would say, like, my study abroad, it just changed me, like, when I came to Student Life. Because at first I was alone, like, at home. Like, I didn't have anything to do. Like, I just had classes and I don't work. So, like, I don't have...
You were bored.
I was like, I have, like, lots of time. And I started feeling like, oh, it's not just 24 hours in a day. I feel like maybe a day is, like, made up, like, 50 hours. So I have, like, 30 hours left in a day. What should I do? So when I came to Student Life, I found out, like, lots of things to do. You will find some activities, like, they have Maker Monday, Tasty Tuesday. So they have a lots of things like you can do, and you can feel like, and you will be active when you leave the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, so the coaches, what we do is when I have a student come in and maybe they're having some issues, it's not, really bad, but they're having a couple things going on. We usually take them for a walk. We take them to Lenore Carty Family Life Center, which is our new neighbors for right now, but it's convenient. I know not for you guys, but I take them over there. I let them know what you guys do. And then I usually take them to Student Life so they can engage and they can understand they have a place to go. And that way I think it's more, they see the campus, they're also taking a walk. So if somebody comes into my office and they're a little upset, they feel better. And I've just connected them with people. And I got to say, today I had a student come down who was feeling some pressure. And we went to Lenore Carty Family Life Center first. Everyone was super polite to them and told them the resources. And we walked over to Student Life, and this person didn't know anybody here on campus, and your students told them, like, we'll be your friends. Oh. So, and that student went from not in a good mood to a very happy mood. Mm-hmm. And I felt comfortable leaving her and going back to my office to take the next student. So it was really wonderful. I think that's like a big thing too.
Yeah, first steps for sure. Anybody else have any advice?
I mean, I hate to repeat, but it's really good advice. You are not alone, and talk to someone. These students, they hit it nail on. Talk to somebody.
Yep.
That's to me, it's been repeated, but that's the best advice.
Yeah.
Because once you talk to somebody, now you've opened the door for change to happen.
Yeah. And we know, we've mentioned this many times before on this podcast, if you're an introvert, we understand that it is not easy for you to ask. But we are here to help you. And I promise you, I'm not going to partner you up with somebody who's an extrovert. I'll find someone who is at your level, who can meet you where you're at. So we always welcome every type of person, whatever you got going on. If it needs to be very private, we can do that. But if you just don't have a place to start, you can always start in Student Life. Our office is in the Curtis Mott building. Room 1129 is what is called the common room, and my office is in there. So you're more than welcome to stop by. We've got plenty of student workers who can help you as well. They all wear yellow vests, so you can't miss them. They look like little birds running around. So if you, by any means, if you need somebody to talk to, just in the minor sense, and you just need some socialization, we're here for that too. So, and thank you guys for coming and giving your input and telling a little bit about mental health from your perspective. I think it's very important to have the different voices and the people who know a little bit more about the topic on the professional level, and then someone who's experienced it firsthand. So I really appreciate the perspective, and listening to you guys is definitely giving me a lot of ideas and helping me to focus a little bit more on my own mental health. So I think this is good. So I really appreciate the time and the energy, and hopefully we'll have you back again as guests. But in the meantime, if you're listening, thank you for spending time with us today. We really appreciate the effort in supporting our little podcast that we have going on here. If you are interested in more content like this, please like and subscribe to our channel so that you can see a little bit more from the perspective of Student Life and Bear Blast. But until next time, go Bears.
And that is it for this episode of Bear Blast. Thanks for hanging out with us. Be sure to follow us so you're always in the know about what's happening at Mott. And for even more Bear content, check us out on TikTok and Instagram. Just search for MCC Student Life. Until next time, go Bears!